I would like to call this meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 7:02. Please join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started tonight, I'd like to take a second and thank Vice President Kobus for your leadership in stepping up and stepping in as acting president since January. I'd also like to thank our administrative assistant, Virginia Stewart Becker, and our city clerk, Kate Jackson, for working with the Ethics Commission and our city solicitor, confirming that I am able to preside over the meetings where the council takes up business that I sent down as while I was acting mayor. So, that being said, I would entertain a motion to approve the records of March 7th, 2023.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the first public hearing?
Gladly. Public hearing to discuss a senior citizen municipal parking fee waiver program, the library lot, be created by amending Section 10-7.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro. Details available through the City Council office at City Hall.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to speak in favor tonight? Please approach the podium. And just for the record, your name and address.
Sure. Amy Rillinger, I'm the director of the library here in Attleboro. It looks like I have prepared remarks for tonight. I'm really just here to say when we were approached about this change to the ordinance, the library staff, the library board is completely in favor of it. I've worked at the library at 74 North Main Street for 21 years. We hear about the parking lot almost every single day, none of it complimentary. And I know that seniors have a difficult time parking during busy times when we have programs and story times. They would almost rather not come to the library at all rather than navigate that lot. So this is a small thing that we can do to make their lives easier, to make them visit the library more frequently. We are all in favor.
Excellent. Any questions for Amy? All right. Amy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak against? Anyone to speak on either for nor against? Seeing none, Councilor Bennett, you need to keep this public hearing open.
No.
I declare that public hearing closed. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the second public hearing?
Certainly. Public hearing to discuss proposed amendments to the following ordinance. Chapter 19, Stormwater Management of the Revised Ordinances of the City of Attleboro. 1. Amend Chapter 19, Stormwater Management Ordinance of the Revised Ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended by deleting in its entirety Appendix E, median pollutant removal for approved practices to meet water quality treatment criteria. Number 2, amend Section 19-1.1, purpose by inserting the language in accordance with the city's requirements for authorized coverage under the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, MS4, general permit issued by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, at the end of the first sentence.
Thank you. I'm assuming Gary and Nick are here to speak in favor.
Good evening, Council President, members of the Municipal Council. For the record, my name is Gary Erasian. I'm the city's Director of Planning and Development. Also tonight here to speak in favor is the city's environmental planner, conservation agent, Mr. Nick Wiley. Before we begin, may I approach the council, Mr. Delisio, to get a hand out.
Thanks, Gary.
Can I give one to Kate? Is that okay? Is there enough?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I just did. So, Council, as you know, the City of Attleboro is under a NIPDES 2 permit. The NIPDES 2 permit was issued in April 2019. We've been operating under that permit for the last 4 years. This actually, the genesis goes back to around circa 2002 when NIPDES 1 was issued. So we've been working with our consultant, various departments, implementing every year the requirements of NIPD's to stay in compliance with the permit. Among those requirements, we're here before you tonight that to amend Chapter 19 of Stormwater Ordinance that the Municipal Council originally adopted in 2008. I submit to you that I think the amendments that the clerk just read are really housekeeping. The meat of this ordinance, or these ordinance amendments, will really manifest themselves with the Planning Board and the Conservation Commission, while Nick and I and staff are working on the regulations that go with these. Those regulations will be subject to a public hearing with the Planning Board and Concom. These would go with the Municipal Council. So I'll just walk you through these. Again, I think they're fairly simple ones. The first is we need to delete Appendix E from the ordinance, which is just tearing out the sheet itself. Amendment number 2 is to 19-1.1 purposes. And as the clerk read, we're merely adding the words, in accordance with the city's requirements for authorized coverage under the municipal separate stormwater system MS4 general permit issued by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Evidently, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency wants to make that a very explicit statement, so it's just adding that additional language. Item number 3 is to amend Section 19-1.1A4 purpose by deleting the words control facilities and inserting in place thereof the words green and the word infrastructure. But for purposes of brevity, I won't read it, but the language is actually written in the document. Number 4 is to amend the definition section. It is to delete, and we've heard this term quite often, best management practice, or more commonly known as BMPs. The EPA has determined that the term green stormwater infrastructure is more appropriate than BMPs. So by deleting best management practices, we will be inserting 3 new definitions. The first is green stormwater infrastructure, whose purpose is really to replace BMPs. Rainwater harvesting and stormwater control measures. Those are all spelled out for you in the number 5. The last amendment is probably the more mechanical one, and what I mean by that is right now in our ordinance, 1-family dwellings and 2-family dwellings are exempt. They do not require a stormwater permit from the Conservation Commission. With the amendments from the EPA under the NIPD's 2 permit, they are now requiring that any lot that's disturbed that is equal to or greater than 1 acre will require a permit. So the way we've worded the language is that a 1-family and a 2-family would continue to be exempt as long as it's less than 1 acre. Okay? So anything greater than 1 acre, equal to or greater than 1 acre, would no longer be exempt. So again, the way we wrote the ordinance is that anything less than 1 acre would be continued to be exempt, to make it into positive. And those are the only changes.
Do we have any questions for the city planner? Councilor Dolan?
Thank you. So say that you said we're inserting the words less, that disturb less than 1 acre.
Correct.
Will be exempt.
Will continue to be exempt, that's right.
And so those are exemptions by us, so that's just, so we could eliminate that we could put it in as any size lot.
So in 2008, when the Municipal Council adopted this, it consciously made a decision to exempt 1-family and 2 families, okay? That wasn't required by EPA or by the NIPD's because that was on ourselves. We exempted it. If you choose, we'd have to modify it, but I think what you're asking is to
Make
what?
them not exempt anymore.
Yeah, well, okay. So, yeah, you could do that. But I just want to make it clear to the council, the administration is not proposing that. So we're just proposing to keep in line with the EPA requirement, which is no exemption if you go above an acre.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Council Holmes?
Thank you. What are lot sizes typically for homes nowadays?
Yeah, Councilor Holmes, if I had to guess, the vast majority of lots are less than an acre. Depending on the size of the subdivision, they could run, I don't know, 18,000 to 36,000. They could push 40. Seldom do we see 1 acre lots or greater.
Yes, thank you.
Councilor Bennett?
Thank you.
To follow up on that, if you like, I'm sorry, I could run a quick query just to give you a sample size by random subdivisions, by random lot size, and not to give you a weighted average. I could do that, but to actually give you the raw numbers if you'd like to see that. We could do that.
Would you mind sending that through Virginia?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Gary.
Probably need a few days to pick out those numbers, but we could provide that, sure.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thank you. What is it about that 1 acre size in particular that, you said anything less than an acre would be exempt, you're recommending still remain exempt, but anything over would fall under this. What is it about that size?
Good question.
That really
So
makes that unique?
there is a nexus. The nexus is with the general construction permit that NIPDES requires for construction sites greater than an acre. But to get into the forensics for that, we'll turn it over to Nick. But it is with the general construction permit, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
So with the NIPDES MS4 permit.
Nick, just your name and address for the record, please.
For the record.
Thank you.
Nick Wiley, environmental planner for the city of Attleboro. So amending our stormwater ordinance to now have that exemption threshold up to the 1 acre now brings us more in line to the EPA's general construction permit activities. So anytime there's a subdivision that's disturbing more than an acre, or let's say there's a large scale, commercial project like a new strip mall or something like that, these developers have to get a permit, not only from the city, but they also have to get one individually from the EPA. The EPA already requires this under their general construction permit guidelines. So this is just bringing us more in line with those guidelines. But the theory and the science behind it is that whenever you're disturbing more than 1 acre of land, you now have a higher chance of pollutants running off that land into waters of the U.S. So NIPDES itself spurs from the Clean Water Act and the Waters of the U.S. ruling, and there's a lot of case law involved with that. We could go down a rabbit hole talking about that.
Sure.
But this would bring us more in lines with some of the federal guidelines.
If I could, I just have one more follow-up. Sure. So you mentioned that developers generally required here. Would this also affect homeowners who want to do improvements on their property?
So if they were disturbing more than 1 acre of land, these proposed amendments, that would be correct.
So disturbing in terms of the scale of the construction or whatever they're doing, not necessarily that their lot size is 1 acre.
Correct, yeah, so they have to be disturbing. So,
No. It's not because you're disturbing an acre. It's disturbing.
Disturbing.
And if you happen to
any
have an
spot.
acre, the threshold is 2,500 square feet. So it's not that you're disturbing an acre. The threshold is if you're going to disturb and it's equal to or greater than an acre, that's what the trigger is. But to actually apply is because you're already disturbing 2,500 square feet. That's the threshold.
Okay.
Not that you have to disturb an acre of real estate.
So building, say, a garage with an addition over it, maybe not rising to a 2,500 square foot project.
Right.
Would that still require?
No, because you're still not disturbing more than 2,500 square feet. So if you're disturbing 2,500 square feet under the current ordinance, whether it's a 1 or a 2, you're exempt. Okay?
Under 25.
Under 25.
Okay, thank you.
No, even if it is 1 to 25, you're exempt, because they're exempt. In this case, if you're going to disturb more than 2,500 square feet, but you're above an acre, you have to apply.
Okay.
So you could disturb 5,000 square feet on a single lot right now, have less than an acre, and you'd be exempt.
Thank you, I appreciate it, thanks.
Council Dolan?
You sure, is everyone clear on that?
That's, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Nobody else.
Yeah, so the threshold isn't that you are excavating an acre, okay? it has to do with the 2,500 square feet, which is the basis, the minimum allowable disturbance that doesn't require a permit.
Counselor Dolan?
Thank you. And so the reason I brought that up is because there's been numerous occasions, and again, this is just why I'm bringing it up, where people have done construction and disturbed their land, which then affects their neighbors. And there's really, if they have no plan for stormwater runoff or whatever post-construction runoff, and it affects their neighbors, and now suddenly their neighbors are flooding, or they have water where they didn't have water before. So that was the reason why I brought up the point of, you said it triggers over an acre. And I feel like it should be any size lot, because when people do construction and move and disturb their land, it affects their neighbors. So just to clarify, that's why I was asking you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Gentlemen, thank you.
I just want to make sure, is everybody clear on the threshold? Okay.
Vice President Kovas?
And just for clarification, and can you help me? Is this the same packet that I went through when I? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Entirely different.
Different packet. All right,
Yes.
great. Because I remember that was a Reba paper, and okay. Thank you.
Counselor Reynolds?
So these are mostly federal NIPDs and EPA suggestions.
These are all
They're
federal.
Do cities and towns have to follow these?
Yes.
Or this is, okay, so we're just catching up.
No, we're not catching up. It's just, this is this new round of work that we're doing.
These are the new ones, these are the new ones that they brought in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're actually ahead of the curve.
Okay,
We're actually ahead of the curve.
okay,
Proud
thank
to
you.
say.
Thank you.
Vice President Kovas?
What does this process look like to fill out the paperwork for this? What does it look like?
So it involves hiring a civil engineer. So you need to have a professional engineer go through the checklist, provide us with site plans, and the most important part is the stormwater management report. That involves doing HydroCAD modeling and all that to see, okay, what's your watershed look like pre-construction conditions, what's it going to look like post-construction conditions, infiltrating to the first inch of runoff, but also through those modeling and designing your plans, are you taking out the required total suspended solids that's within the stormwater runoff? Are you reducing the phosphorus that's in there? It's a lot more involved than the notice of intent package that you went through to do the house addition. So typically stormwater management projects are usually much larger than single-family homes. So it's not something that the average homeowner would typically go through. Unless, of course, they're doing disturbance of more than 1 acre for some large-scale project. But it usually, I don't think I've ever had a stormwater management permit application come in that was done by someone solely on their own, unless they were a professional engineer.
On average, what's the cost?
That's entirely project dependent. That could vary wildly.
Okay.
Now, while that seems awful complicated, and it is, one of the things that we have in the appendix, Council Kovas, is a checklist. You might say, well, big deal. It alerts the person what it is that we're going to be looking for, or the engineer, or the applicant, precisely what we're looking for. So instead of reading paragraph after paragraph, which you could do, and try to figure out what it is you need to submit, we tried to simplify the process by alerting one to, I think it's about a 2-page checklist.
The concept one is 2 pages. I think the final is about 3 or 4.
Yeah. I know it seems, a little cumbersome, but it tells you exactly what you need to submit to help the designer along, for what it's worth. But again, please understand, it's it's a federal unfunded mandate that we're dealing with as best as we can.
Counselor Holmes?
Thank you. So, did you just mention mostly commercial properties would be?
It's typically what happens with a stormwater management permit. However, if it's a subdivision, that would also fall under the ordinance as well. However, the subdivisions are handled by the planning board, whereas anything that's not a subdivision that falls under the ordinance is handled by the Conservation Commission.
Apartment buildings are not subdivisions. They're residential in nature, but those would go with the Conservation Commission. So all of the development you see in the downtown, that's either new construction or adaptive reuse of existing mill buildings, that's all Conservation Commission. Albeit they're residential.
Council Bennett.
Thank you. Does this change anything in terms of the way the city will be engaging in projects and the requirements that the city currently has? No change.
No, for the record, I just nodded.
Okay. Additional questions? Nick, Gary, thank you.
Mr. Cobus, any other questions? You're still looking?
I'm trying to understand, if I may, President.
As long as it relates to what the public hearing's about.
Yes. So if it's a residential property over an acre and the individual's trying to disturb over 2,500 square feet, then this applies, correct? Say, for instance, if they're trying to build a 3,000 square foot addition, correct?
Whatever the ordinance allows.
Right, whatever the ordinance allows. So this would require a stormwater management
Permit from the Conservation Commission.
Right. So this would apply, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Wait, you're saying if you're doing a 3,000 square foot garage?
No, a
Or
3,000
addition.
square foot disturbance on a lot that's equal to or greater than an acre.
Residential,
So is there a single family or two family on it?
Well, that's, yeah.
single
that's-
family, yes.
Well, there's a 3,000 square foot disturbance. Our threshold is 2,500 on a lot that's equal to or greater than an acre. That's your example, correct?
Yes.
Well, that's the example, so why wouldn't it apply?
Because you're disturbing less than 1 acre.
No, he said it greater than an acre, Nick.
Oh, if you're disturbing greater than an acre.
No, it meets the minimum threshold of 2,500 square feet. He's given an example of 3,000 on a lot that's greater than an acre. So it's not exempt.
The way I read the exemption, though, is that you have to be disturbing more than that acre, though. Because otherwise,
That was my question.
single family and two family is exempt. Construction renovation,
Yeah.
to disturb less than 1 acre. So if it's disturbing less than 1 acre, it's exempt.
Right, or if say we were tearing down the house and building a new house.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're disturbing it, because no construction ever on a single-family house, no development ever,
That's a whole acre.
what's that?
Does-
Disturbs an entire acre of real estate. If you had a 16,000 square foot lot, you don't disturb, what that's saying is that's the threshold. It's not that you're actually disturbing that much land area.
Point of order, should we get clarification?
Yes, thank you, Council Holmes. What I would suggest is maybe Councilor Bennett, we see if anyone else wants to speak in favor. We keep this open until the 4th.
Thank you.
And then we can just kind of get any additional questions, get it clarified, and then we can come back on the 4th and address this.
Thank you, that'd be
Okay.
great. If
Does
that's
that
in
work?
the current, is that 2,500 square feet in the
That's
current
already currently in the
ordinance?
ordinance.
Okay, so what I would suggest is, any questions that we have, let's get them to Gary through Virginia, so she can get them to the council.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, to the city planner, and then we can address this on the 4th, on April 4th, if that works.
I'm glad I continued to ask the questions to Councilor Cobus and Councilor Bennett, because I kept seeing a little concern on the face, so I apologize for any confusion. I think we're on the same page. I just think we're, for some reason, in live TV, we're a little off, but I'm pretty sure we're on the same page.
This is a complex issue, and, I know you said that it was housekeeping, but it's a little more in-depth than housekeeping.
Well, that's why I said when we came to that, that's a little more mechanical. I didn't apply the same standard to the Sixth Amendment as I did to the first five,
And
so.
we just want to ensure that we all understand
Yes,
the
sir.
mechanisms that are in place. So I think there's no harm, there's no rush, so we have an extra 2 weeks, so.
Okay.
We'll do that.
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so that public hearing will be continued until April 4th. Do we have anyone else who wants to speak in favor of this ordinance?
Good evening, Jack Jacoby. My office is at 144 Bank Street. As you know, I represent developers frequently, so I just wanted to give you a slightly different perspective from what Gary gave. So first of all, if I can address what Councilor Dolan said. The law says that you cannot divert water onto your neighbor's property. So in the event that somebody was building a single or two-family house that was exempt under the current ordinance, they cannot, in the way that they disturb the earth, redirect the water so it goes onto their neighbor's land. So it does mean, though, if somebody does it, then they may have to file a lawsuit. So I understand your point, but I did want to make clear that the law says that you can't divert water onto your neighbor's land. The second thing is that our zoning ordinance has minimum lot sizes. We have single residence A, B, C, D, and E, and I think they range from 10,000 to 25,000 square feet. And most developers build to the minimum lot size. But one of the interesting things that's occurred over the last few years is that the open space residential subdivision, which preserves a big portion of the lot, 50% in its natural state, and then allows you to have a smaller infrastructure and to build on smaller lots. So the likelihood of you seeing 1-acre house lots in the future is pretty low, in my opinion. The trend is to have much smaller lots and to have smaller infrastructure. And finally, the stormwater permit would apply to subdivisions as it stands now or under this, in the sense that the roadways that are built all are subject to the stormwater ordinance, because it's not the single-family house, it's the road that goes in front of it. So we typically have that done by professional engineers. It's submitted to the Conservation Commission, and then the city hires its review engineer, Horsley Witten, to review all of the calculations. So I guess sitting here listening, I think it is not likely that you're going to see a house lot of larger than 1 acre at any time in the near future.
Any questions for Mr. Jacoby? Okay.
Thank
As
you.
always, thank you, Jack. Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else? Anyone to speak against? Anyone to speak neither for nor against? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, we'll continue this to April 4th.
Thank you.
And Madam Clerk, will you please read the notice for the third public hearing?
Yes, sir. Public hearing regarding a loan order for the following. Ordered that $2 million is appropriated for the designing, permitting, bidding, construction oversight, and construction costs associated with the remodeling, reconstructing, and making of extraordinary repairs to the roof and windows at Willett Elementary School located at 32 Watson Ave in Attleboro, Mass., including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto the project, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $2 million under Section 7(1) of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority, that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project.
Anyone to speak in favor?
Jack Jacoby, 15 Prince Street, not appearing as a lawyer now, but as the chairman of the Municipal Building Commission. I said everything that I wanted to say 2 weeks ago at the Committee of the Whole, and so if you need to incorporate those in this public hearing for any reason, I would ask that you do so. I emphasize to you the need for this project. This is a 36-year-old roof that owes us nothing, and we need to get it done this summer. Just to give you a quick update, we are receiving the responses to the designer selection next Wednesday, and we will interview the top candidates the Wednesday after that. And if this council follows through with this loan order, we would then, a few days after that, be able to sign a contract with the designer, get the design done, get it out on the street, get the work done before school begins back in late August or early September, whatever the first day of school is. And I, again, just want to thank this council, and I want to thank everybody on the team who worked to get this to this point. It was truly a great effort by a lot of people, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Jacoby? Jack, thank you for your work on this and all you do.
Thank you. Good night.
Anybody else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak against? Anyone speak neither for nor against? Vice President Kobus, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
I do not.
Madam Clerk will declare this public hearing closed. And that is all of the public hearings that we have for tonight. We will now recess for the Finance Committee to vote out the Willet roof. Due to the timing the process takes, this needs to be voted out of committee tonight and then in front of the full council. That being said, I would entertain a motion to recess.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are recessed at 7:32.
We can just get the, maybe 1 second to get the paperwork.
Yep. We're just going to do financial.
He's going to get it out of committee, and then we're going to vote for it.
Committee first.
Good, thank you. Oh, I heard it.
All right, I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order at 7:33. On the committee is myself, Council Reynolds, and sitting in for Council Conti will be President Delicio. All right. From the docket of March 21st, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the following loan order. Order that $2 million is appropriated for the design, permitting, bidding, construction, oversight, and construction costs associated with the remodeling, construction, and making of extraordinary repairs to the roof and windows at Willett Elementary School located at 32 Watson Ave in Attleboro, Massachusetts, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto the project, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $2 million under Section 7.1 of Chapter 44 of the General Laws, or any other enabling authority that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project.
Second.
Motion's in order. So this is a project that's been on the capital improvements, in the capital improvements book as urgent for a long time, with the budget director being pulled away, and it sort of got apparently lost in the shuffle a little bit, and was identified as sort of being needed and sort of pushed through it at the last minute. So this is something that needs to be approved tonight. We just heard from Jack Jacoby. We need to vote it out of committee tonight, and then before the full council, we just had the public hearing. We're going to vote it out of committee, vote it before the full council tonight, and I encourage everybody to do so. I normally don't like voting things through in this manner, but in order to have it worked on this summer and save money and do it while the kids are out of school, we need to move quickly and vote it tonight. So that's why I'm comfortable in doing so. That's why we talked about it last week when it came down and came before us. So hopefully everybody had time to have any questions answered ahead of time, and so this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that we're voting it this way. And hopefully people support this. Does anybody have any other questions? This is to vote the $2 million out of committee. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item. From the docket of March 21st, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $25,000 from account 1000-359000, General Fund Undesignated Fund Balance, to fund 3433 Willett Roof Project, and further to transfer $125,000 from 3568 599-000 COA feasibility study other financing uses to 3433-499-000 Willett Roof Project other finance sources.
Second.
Motion's in order. And this is the funding for the feasibility study. This is also the more funding for the Willett Roof project. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so in February, I was speaking with the auditor about this, the auditor and the treasurer, and we needed $150 for the design and
The design, right?
the design and some of the engineering. So we were trying to figure out how do we maneuver this. So we were able to take the $25,000. If you remember, last year I worked with Senator Feeney to get the $125,000 for the senior center feasibility study. That was still there as an eligible use. So I spoke with Deb. We were able to work to take the 25 from the undesignated fund balance, combine that with the 125, getting us to that 150 in order to move this project forward.
So we're not. So the feasibility study for the Council on Aging is still happening.
It's still happening because we funded that out of our general budget last year. This is the additional 125 because we weren't sure where we were coming with the funding for that. So I worked with Senator Feeney to get that earmarked in this fiscal year's budget. That is still sitting there. It's an eligible use, so we're able to use that. So we're not going into free cash. We're not going into reserve fund for transfer.
So the state's paying for
Essentially,
the feasibility study for the Council on Aging. So we're using that money to pay for the Willett design.
Correct.
Or we're paying for the money that we had originally set aside for the Council on Aging feasibility study to pay for this Willett design.
Yep.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. All right. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned at 7:39.
Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting of the Municipal Council back to order at 7:39. Thank you. I would entertain a motion to enter into Committee of the Whole.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Angelo. Motion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We are now in Committee of the Whole. If anyone has any business they wish to bring in front of the City Council, please approach the podium and give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Marion Wrightington, 42 North Ave, Chair of the Attleboro Historical Commission. I wanted to read you all a letter that the commission had written, and we did have it published in the Sun Chronicle, but just in case some of you didn't read it, or a lot of the folks at home didn't, we thought we'd come and read it tonight. The Attleboro Historical Commission is charged with identifying, evaluating, preserving, and protecting places of historic importance to ensure that key elements of Attleboro's history are maintained for future generations. One of these recognizable buildings that has been part of the city's history and community for over a century is the former Attleboro High School at 135 County Street, which some city officials have marked for demolition. This building has been a symbol of excellence to so many in our community for generations and constructed with a level of craftsmanship unattainable today. It is important to note that there is value in new buildings and their contribution to a diverse community, but it is also vital to balance old and new construction. Without this balance, we will be a city that has lost its identity and ties to its roots that make Attleboro a caring, connected, history-rich city. City officials have made clear that office and meeting space in the current City Hall building is no longer adequate to support our city government. Recently, the Municipal Building Commission has begun design concept work on a new combined public safety complex to replace the existing police and fire stations in downtown, and indicated that finding a location is a challenge. Their discussion included the possibility of demolishing Richardson School, built in 1901, the Recreation Center, which is the 1910 Armory, and possibly eminent domain takings of private property nearby. They stated that another tax override via debt exclusion would be necessary. We have a different vision. one that preserves our history while meeting the needs of a modern city and a cost-effective reuse of our historic properties. We are proposing that the former Attleboro High School be considered as the new anchor for our city's government. The square footage and sheer size of 135 County Street allows for so much more than just a larger city hall. The social service agencies currently housed in the former Richardson School could also be relocated there. The former Richardson School building, within easy walking access to nearby commuter rail and bus service, could be an attractive residential development project similar to Bliss School. With City Hall relocated, that lot and the abutting police station properties could be the site for the public safety complex. The former Attleboro High School would be a strategic location that would offer enough space to meet the city's growing needs. Parking should not be a concern. There is more repairs than from the street level, and the removal of the latter building additions on the rear of that school could add more parking, and the city owns a lot across Fifth Street also. It's an option. Attleboro's own 2012 comprehensive plan recommended the expansion and renovation of existing facilities as a way to support environmental sustainability. A new energy-efficient building can take 10 to 80 years to overcome the environmental impact of its own construction process. According to the EPA, remodeling an existing building can save 90% of a building's materials versus demolition. We have an opportunity to preserve a piece of Attleboro's history and architecture while meeting the needs of its citizens for years to come in a sustainable, responsible way. Maintaining the facade of the structure and opening up the interior will help achieve this, while increasing usable square footage. The city would be hard-pressed to find a better location and more well-constructed building in the downtown area, and we already own it. In summary, we are asking city leaders and the community for their support of our vision, similar to the vision of communities across the country that have successfully given new life to their classic buildings. The former Attleboro High School should never be dismissed as irrelevant to our community and its history, nor be allowed to be sold and demolished. In fact, it should be celebrated and given new life for the betterment of our city. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Marion. Any questions for Mrs. Reddington? Councilor Blair?
Very well done.
Thank you very much.
I might be the only one that's graduated from that building. I'm sitting on it. In fact, I am.
Yeah. I have copies of the letter if you'd all like to pass those.
Why'd you go to Brennan?
High school. I think he went there when it was a high school.
I graduated from there, from 8th grade.
Me too.
Oh, from
I graduated high school from there.
I like what you did
Remember,
there.
I'm a dinosaur.
Never be dismissed. That was good.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Thank you for the hard work that you and
This is my committee over here. Rachel Killian, Brian French, and Jerry Turcott.
it's nice to see you all, and just thank you for the presentation. Thank you for coming down tonight, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else, would anyone else like to speak in the committee of the whole? Would entertain a motion to arise from committee of the whole?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now back to the reading of the mayor's communication.
March 21st, 2023. Dear municipal councilors, the city of Attleboro has been notified of its fiscal year 2024 apportionment for the Chapter 90 local transportation aid in the amount of $1,204,645.61. Therefore, I respectfully request your honorable body to authorize the expenditure of $1,204,645.61 and any other future grant amendments into Fund 3108, Chapter 90 projects for the purpose of funding Chapter 90 eligible projects as approved by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, MassDOT, copies in your packets.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Planning and Development, Gary Arasian, and hereby request your honorable body to to hold a public hearing on April 4th, 2023, relative to the administration's program year 2023 CDBG entitlement budget for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Program year 2023 annual action plan. Authorization to submit said program year 2023 CDBG entitlement and program year 2023 annual action plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on or before May 15th, 2023.
Finance Committee, please. Council Reynolds, would you like to call for a public hearing on April 4th, please?
Yes, I would.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out a portion of Hillcrest Avenue as a public way, length of 225 feet from Station 10+00 to Station 13+25, and accept said way and any related drainage, water, or sewer facilities or easements, all as shown on a plan and profile entitled Street Acceptance Plan, Hillcrest Avenue Extension, Attleboro, Massachusetts, dated December 15, 2021, and revised through April 25, 2022, prepared by Joy E. Hastings, RPLS, and Daniel R. Campbell, RPE, which plan and profile have been deemed satisfactory to the Superintendent of Public Works. Enclosed, please find the necessary documents.
Zoning and land use, please. Council Holmes, would you like to call for a public hearing on April 18th?
Please.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended, to lay out a portion of Hillcrest Avenue as a public way, length of 125 feet from Station 13+25 to Station 14+50, and accept said way in any related drainage, water, or sewer facilities or easements, all as shown on a plan and profile entitled Street Acceptance Plan, Hillcrest Avenue Extension 2. Attleboro, Massachusetts, dated December 16th, 2021, and revised through April 25th, 2022, prepared by Joyce E. Hastings, RPLS, and Daniel R. Campbell, RPE, which plan and profile have been deemed satisfactory to the Superintendent of Public Works. Enclosed, please find the necessary documents.
Zoning and land use, please.
I respect...
One moment. Sorry. Council Holmes, would you like to call for a public hearing on 418?
Please.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Planning and Development, Gary Arazian, regarding the donation of 6 Acer rhubarb red maple trees, valued at approximately $215 each, for a total of $1,290, from developer Mr. Fred Bottomley. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro.
City property and claims, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance, Mark Furtado, regarding the following fiscal year 22 fiscal obligations that were not received in time to be processed in the normal fiscal year 22 business cycle. Rick's Musical Instruments, $458. Rick's Musical Instruments, $60. Rick's Musical Instruments, $67.89. Henry Schein, $255. Henry Schein, $833.75. UMass Medical, $3,182.60, grand total, $4,857.24. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to authorize the school department to pay these previous year school bills totaling $4,857.24, as identified in Mr. Furtado's communications. Copies in your packet.
Finance Committee, please.
For your information, I'd like to inform your honorable body that I have extended the appointment of Recreation Director Dennis Walsh, Acting Director of Council on Aging, for an additional 90 days.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh, and that is an FYI.
I respectfully submit a communication from Elections Officer Manager Leslie Vega regarding a request for funds to rent a high-speed tabulator to process vote-by-mail ballots at the presidential primary in March of 2024. Because the tabulator is available on a first-come basis, the Elections Office needs to enter into a rental agreement as soon as possible. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $5,100 from account 11241-000-578-300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer transfer to account 1162100-527014, elections rental high-speed tabulator, copies in your packets.
Ordinance elections, legislative matters, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Elections Officer Manager Leslie Vega regarding a request for funds to cover the cost of a special election. Although the date has not yet been selected by the City Council, we were able to estimate the following expenses to cover costs associated with the anticipated special municipal election. Additionally, any unspent funds from the special election on February 28, 2023 will be used for the upcoming special election. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $30,440 from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to the following accounts for the purpose of one or more special municipal elections in fiscal 2023. Account 1162100-511500, salaries, elections, $16,380. 1162100-530910, printing and reproduction, $5,000. 1162100-530101, professional services, $3,500. 1162100-531020, police at polls, $4,700. 1162100-542020, supplies, elections, equipment, $860, copies in your packets.
Thank you. Ordinances, elections, and legislative matters, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Chief of Police Kyle P. Hegney regarding a request for funds to pay field training officers, FTOs, stipends per the police union contract. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $24,000 from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 1210100-515040, police professional trainings, copies in your packets.
Public safety and emergency management, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Chief of Police Kyle P. Hegney regarding a request for overtime funds due to 26 patrol officer vacancies. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $80,000 from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 1210100-513000, police overtime, copies in your packets.
Public safety and emergency management, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the receipt of an Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPG, from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, in the amount of $20,150. These funds may be utilized for emergency management-related activities and equipment procurement. The funds provided through this grant will be utilized to add portable computers to the frontline apparatus to integrate real-time with incident management software. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body approve expending of such funds and any future grant amendments.
Public safety and emergency management, please.
Thank you. On March 7th, 2023, your honorable body voted to appropriate $24,000 from account 6100-578300, Water Enterprise Fund reserved for transfer. This funding request should have been sent to the transfer of the funds not appropriate. Additionally, this funding request should have been for $31,000. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body rescind vote number 6 on March 7th, 2023.
Public Works, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water, Courtney Allen, regarding the need for funds for health insurance. A review of the health insurance accounts reveals that additional funding will be required to cover the anticipated expenses for the remainder of fiscal year 2023. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $31,000 from account 6100-578-300 Water Enterprise Fund Reserve Fund for transfer to the following: $20,000 to account 6100-517120 Water Enterprise Fund Health Insurance HMO, $11,000 to account 6100-517125 Water Enterprise Fund HMO 500, copies in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, Human Services, please.
On December 7th, 2021, your honorable body voted to approve funds for the Water and Wastewater Departments to purchase a new Ford T250 Transit van. After council approval, the Water Department confirmed pricing for the van in January 2022 and ordered the van in early February 2022, as soon as the purchase order was issued. The van arrived to the vendor on December 1st, 2022. The vendor informed the Water Department that the van was available for delivery, but the price for the van had increased to $48,952.45, an increase of $11,636.15. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $6,981.69 from account 6100-359000 Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account 6100-587046 Water Enterprise Fund van purchase, and appropriate $4,654.46 from account 6000-359000 Water Enterprise retained earnings to account 6000-587046 Wastewater Enterprise Fund van purchase. Additionally, I respectfully request approval of funds on or before April 18th, 2023, as the vendor may not be able to hold the current price any longer. Copies in your packets.
Finance Committee, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Melinda J. Quart of 384 South Main Street as a member of the Planning Board to fill an unexpired term to expire February 2026. Copies in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, Human Services, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Acting Personnel Director Beth Fokin regarding the acceptance of a memorandum of agreement, an MOA, between the city and local 1144 laborers union relative to snow program participation bonus effective 2022 to 2023 winter season. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body approve the MOA for the 2022-2023 winter season. Additionally, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $54,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 1423100-519921 snow ice removal snow participation. Also, an amendment is needed due to the addition of the Deputy Building Inspector and Solid Waste Manager to the Rules and Regulations for Exempt Employees, Section 16, Clothing Allowance. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body amend Article 16, Uniform and Clothing Allowances, as described in the Personnel Rules and Regulations for Exempt Employees, to add the Deputy Building Inspector and Solid Waste Manager. Funding is not required in fiscal year '23. Copies in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services, and Councilor Angelo, I think if you could work with Virginia to have that pulled out into two separate motions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sincerely, Kathleen D. Simone, Mayor.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, would you please move on to the clerk's communication?
Oh, Mr. President. Clerk's communication, Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. We have received a new Class 2 license application from Attleboro Shell Auto Sales, LLC, 182 Pleasant Street, for 19 personal parking spaces and 10 display spaces.
License Committee, please. And Councilor Dolan, would you like to call for a public hearing on April 4th?
Yes, please.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
We have received the special election calendar from the Elections Commissioners.
We'll refer that to ordinances, please.
We have received from the Planning Board the certificate of vote to recommend that the Municipal Council accept the enclosed list of 66 streets as public ways, a combined length of 42,290.61 plus feet and 8.01 plus miles.
Zoning and land use, please. And Council Holmes, would you like to call for a public hearing on April 18th?
Please.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
We have received from the planning board a certificate of vote to recommend to the municipal council to adopt the following proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance, specifically Section 17-3.5, Table of Accessory Use Regulations, Section 17-4.5, Accessory Structures, and Section 17-11.2, Definitions of the zoning ordinance.
Zoning and land use, please.
That concludes my communications.
Thank you. We will now go into committee reports, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Do you want me to cancel this?
If you don't mind.
So License Committee is canceled tonight, and we look forward to a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you.
Reporting for Public Works Committee, from the docket of March 21st, 2023, I move to transfer $2,500 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Animal Control Maintenance of Vehicles to repair the 2014 Ford F-350.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
I don't have any additional comments. We discussed in committee.
Any additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of March 21st, 2023, I move to transfer $8,042.92 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Recreation New Playground Equipment to purchase a replacement seat and rope for the Briggs Playground zip line and saucer.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I have none. We discussed in committee.
Councilor Blair.
Just a comment that anytime I've been at that playground, that thing gets used like you would not believe. It's got to be the most popular playground piece of equipment in the city, so
Yeah, I would agree with that.
it's a well spent.
Agree.
Additional questions or concerns? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
That's all the business for the Public Works Committee, and we look forward to a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. Councilor Bennett.
No business for transportation and traffic this evening, thank you.
Anything for ordinances?
Yes, would you like me to do that?
Yeah, why don't we just do that now?
Reporting for ordinances and legislative matters this evening from the docket of March 21st, 2023. I move to hold a special election on May 23rd, 2023 to fill an unexpired at-large councillor position vacated by Kathleen DeSimone in accordance with the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Yes, so I understand that this is the date that originally the council had discussed. However, we've since received communication from the elections office from Leslie Vega saying that the 23rd is actually posing a problem. The Elks is unavailable for that date, and there's some complexities involved in changing the polling location. And so she's asked us to consider a different date. June 6th is the one that comes up as the best date at this point.
So I'll move to amend to June 6, 2023.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No additional comments.
Okay, so this is to vote on the amendment. We'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. The amendment passes. We're now back to the motion as amended. Councilor Bennett?
Would you like me to?
Yeah, just read the motion again with the new date in there. And
I move to hold a special election on June 6th, 2023 to fill the unexpired at-large councillor position vacated by Kathleen DeSimone in accordance with the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended.
Second.
thank you, Councilor Dolan. Motion is in order. Any comments? Councilor Holmes?
Thank you. Yes, and I just want to mention, I think it's important for everyone to know that we didn't want to go with Memorial Day weekend because there were some complications with that as well. And I know everyone was concerned, always concerned that we're always trying to get the soonest date that we can. So that just seems to make sense.
Good add-on. Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Mr. Blair.
It's Mr. Blair.
Thank
Thank you.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
That concludes the business for ordinances and legislative matters for this evening.
Thank you, Vice President Cobus.
All right, reporting for the Finance Committee. And from the docket of March 7th, 2023, move to approve the following loan order. Order that $2 million is appropriated for the designated permitting, bidding, construction, oversight, and construction costs associated with the remodeling, reconstruction, and making of extraordinary repairs to the roof and windows at Willett Elementary School located at 32 Watson Ave in Attleboro, Massachusetts, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto the project, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer will, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $2 million under Section 7(1) of Chapter 44 of the General Laws, or any other enabling authority that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Blair. Any questions, comments?
We just heard from Attorney Jacoby about this, and I encourage people to support this loan order.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
And from the docket of March 21st, 2023, I move to appropriate $25,000 from general fund undesignated fund balance to fund Willett Roof Project, and further to transfer $125,000 from COA feasibility study other financing uses to Willett Roof Project other financing sources.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments?
And this is, again, for the Willett design.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
That concludes the business for the Finance Committee. No business for the IT Committee. We call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time. And a committee meeting for the Finance Committee at the next appropriate time as well.
Thank you for pinch hitting tonight.
Thank you.
Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Zoning and Land Use has no business this evening. We'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you. Reporting for city property and claims from the docket of March 21st, 2023. I move to accept the donation of 15 2022 Massachusetts criminal law textbooks and 6 2022 Massachusetts criminal procedure textbooks from Commonwealth Police Legacy.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I have none.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of March 21st, 2023, I move to declare the following Council on Aging printers as surplus and available for disposition. They're all inoperable: 1 HP Office Jet, 1 HP Jet Pro, and 1 HP Desk Jet.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments,
I
rather?
have none.
Okay. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yep.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yup.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of March 21st, 2023, I move to declare the following Council on Aging furniture as surplus and available for disposition.
You can waive the reading. You read it last week.
Yes, I did. Okay, so it is a total, I'll just say it's a
Thank you,
total of
Councilor Holmes.
18,
Motion is in
19,
order.
20, 24 chairs.
Any additional comments?
I have none.
Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of March 21st, 2023, I move to declare the following recreation vehicle as surplus and available for disposition. It is a 2003 Ford Ranger in poor condition.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I have none.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of March 21st, 2023, I move to declare the following park and forestry vehicles equipment as surplus and available for disposition: a hot dog cart, a 2003 GMC Sierra, a 2008 Ford F-350, a Kubota mower, and a Kubota snow blower.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
They're just in very poor condition.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of January 3rd, 2023, I move to appropriate $27,500 from account undesignated fund balance free cash, general government, to account citywide building renovations.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I think we've, geez, hang on a second, I think I held that. I don't think
think you did.
brought that out. Yeah, so take your second away, please, Councilor.
I rescind my second.
Okay, thank you.
I lost my head there for a minute. Forgive me. And from the docket of December 6th, 2022, I move to strike the July 19th, 2022 request to transfer $100,000 from account citywide reserve for capital to account citywide transfer to capital fund, and to further transfer that $100,000 from account citywide transfer to capital fund to account Highland Pavilion transfer from general fund.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, we're just cutting that out for the time being.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Additionally, I move to strike the request for an appropriation of the $800,000 from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to fund 3572 Highland Pavilion.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, we're just putting that back to free cash.
Terrific. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this also requires a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of April 19th, 2022, I move to declare the Academy building as surplus and available for disposition.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I think, we've gone over this, and we're hopeful that this building, and we've been working on it for some time to get it to go back into the hands of the Historical Commission as well as the Preservation Society, and let them take over the building they started renovating many years ago.
Thank you. Councilor Blair.
Just to make sure, this is a process so that this does go back
Yes,
to the historical.
you have to
committee.
start here, but yes,
It has to start
It has
there
to
by
start here.
declaring it.
yes.
I'm
But
sure
there's-
they wouldn't entertain a bid from anybody else. right?
Well, we've worked on it a long time to get
Yeah.
it to go there, so it's in the work, and that's the plan, yeah.
You've had so many people donate their time and energy bringing that building to
So where it is,
to
yeah.
where it is now.
We want them to continue.
Right.
You're
Councilor
right.
Holmes.
Thank you, yes, and I think that they'll have more access to grants.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. So that's the reason for the move.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And that is all the business City Property and Claims has this evening, but we will like to call a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Angelo.
Personnel Veterans Human Resources Committee is canceled tonight and call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Blair.
Call Public Safety Emergency Management to order. I have one motion this evening. I move to transfer $1,750 from account 1300 1000-519110, education allowance clothing, to account 1300100-558310, education uniforms for new crossing guard uniforms.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We did discuss the explanatory.
Contractual, too.
Yeah, it's contractual. And we have trouble getting crossing guards now. So we're lucky to have them.
Agreed. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Dolan.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes? Yes. Ms. Reynolds? Yes. Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. There is no old business. We have one piece of new business for which we'll recognize Councilor Angelo.
I have it here.
I move the following new business be referred for study and recommendation to confirm the appointment of Mayor Kathleen DeSimone as representative of the city on Sturdy Memorial Hospital Board of Managers to fill an unexpired term to expire December 2023.
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Cobus. Motion is in order. Any comments?
This is, I think, pretty standard for the mayors to be on the hospital board.
All right. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll put all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We'll put that in personnel. Thank you. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We adjourned at 8:17. Have a good night, everyone.
Was I supposed to send you some?